Good day everyone, Vulcanite here, and I'm back to show you how to do hard things the easy way. The Volca way. Since most people don't wish on the weapon banner, in my previous video I did the Abyss 36 stars with only 3-star weapons. And because people said this Abyss is harder, I just had to try it again. In this video I will give you some general tips, show you the teams I used, and show you how I did it. So let's see what you can expect from this Abyss. Chamber 1 on the first half you have the Wolves, which means you would want a healer, and you have a few enemies with pyro shields, making Hydro your best option and Electro your second best option. On the second half you have a Simon, which means you want Electro and Dendro so you can bring him out of his invisibility. Chamber 2 first half you have a lot of mechs spawning in different waves. Grouping an AoE can be really useful here. On the second half you have the Jade Bloom Terror Shroom. He has really high Dendro resistance, meaning your best team is probably Aggravate, but he is still a single target, and if you use Deep Wood, Hyper Bloom can still get the job done. In Chamber 3 you have the two Samurai brothers that you need to kill at the same time, as well as the two Fatui gunmen with pyro shields. After them you have two Abyss Lectors that also have pyro shields. Coming back to the reason why you want as much Hydro and secondary Electro on this side as possible. On the second half you have the dancing couple boss again, but the one without the shield. This one does do a lot of damage though, so you just want to survive and do as much damage as possible. For the second half, with the 3 single target bosses, I decided to go with my trusty Quick Bloom team. For the first half I wanted good AoE, a lot of Hydro, good Electro, and a healer. So I decided to go with Neuvillette for the Hydro, Beidou for the Electro, and Jean as the healer. Then I added Zhongli for the shield. This way I was sure my Neuvillette would not get interrupted. Now let's get into it. I had some luck with my first Abyss card picking up crit rate and crit damage. With this team, your ideal play would be to get a Hydro Crystallize and a Hydro Swirl to maximize your Neuvillette damage. But in a lot of these cases you will see me getting an Electro Swirl instead, which is not bad since Beidou's damage is really good with multiple targets. Since the team did not have any grouping, my plan was to stun the enemies with a Zhongli burst when they are grouped together, and then go all out with Neuvillette's attack. With Beidou not having her trusty Favonius Greatsword, I had some energy problems. I just tried to use my skill as often as possible to try and get her burst up. You can bypass having energy problems on Neuvillette by using your skill first, then doing your setup with other characters, coming back to Neuvillette to use your charge attack, and by this time your skill would be back on cooldown again. I only had 47 seconds to beat Simon, but this is the kind of fight where Quick Bloom or Hyper Bloom excels. Simon normally teleports in the direction he is facing when he turns invisible, and you can easily remove the invisibility with some quicken. On the second chamber I get an Elemental Mastery card. Really good for the Quick Bloom, but also pretty good for the Electro Charge. Against the mechs, I try to quickly run to one side and position myself between them and a wall. This way I could keep them all in a straight line for Nuvilet's charge attack. Even if you had a grouper like Kazuha, I would still suggest going to the side. The reason for this is that the wheel mechs will spin right through you, and if you group them in the middle, they might just end up going in all directions. For the second wave, stick on the mech with the shield. The other one moves around a lot, but always comes back to you. For the third wave, the two smaller ones are ranged. I try to go to one of those and try and attack the big one with at least one of the small ones at all times. I had 1 minute and 4 seconds to take down the Dendro Chicken with all his Dendro resistance, using my Quick Bloom team that does mostly Dendro damage. Doing quicken reactions will fill his Fury bar. He will do one last all-out attack before being stunned. While stunned, he has only 55% Dendro resistance instead of 80%. When he does the attack where he charges across the map, I find it best to go where he will end up and do the setup on your characters. I was lucky enough that he doesn't do a charge attack a second time, and I can kill him just in time. On the third chamber, I get a card to increase charge and normal attack damage. This is good for both Alhaitham as well as Nuvilet. I start by trying to group the two gunmen. Unfortunately, the one jumps away from me. I then quickly move to the outside where he will walk back to the rest. The most important thing here is to make sure that the two samurai go down at the same time. I accidentally run to the lectors, but what you want to do is run to the wall on the side of either of the two lectors. This will cause the one that is furthest away to walk closer and group up with the other one. Your main goal is to do as much damage as quickly as possible to get them into their shield states. When they are shielded, You just need to apply as much as possible Hydro and Electro to get those shields down. I only had 44 seconds to beat the last boss. I just go all out on damage. This boss does a lot of damage, but Xingqiu's damage reduction helps a lot. Being low on time, I skip using Nahida's burst the second time. I make it with 4 seconds to spare. I'm sure there are a lot of teams that'll do a lot better in the first half, as well as more skilled players that would probably get better clear times with the same team as me. The point of this video was to show you that you can clear with 36 stars, even if you don't have the best 5-star weapons or a lot of skill. All you need is decent artifacts and some good team building. And most important of all is to have some fun. Hope this helped and that you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.